Hello. Yes, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Yes. Welcome, everyone, to Heart Talk. Today, I have a very special and beautiful lady. Her name is Nant Nissen. And I chanced upon her actually thanks to our good connection on LinkedIn. His name is Brett Packard. And,
Thank you,
you know,
Brett.
yes, and Brett is coming tonight. So I'm seeing we have some names here. Eric was saying, Eric Jamit, he's saying that he's having some technical difficulties. And we have Ricardo Vargas. Is it your friend, Nan?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
You're signing in from which beach? Myrtle Beach? So nice. Okay, Eric is in. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being on time. We have many questions actually tonight. So we are excited to share with you and have a conversation with you. Now, feel free to just jump in and share with us any questions, any comments, because I truly believe in learning together through everyone's story, understanding and listening to everyone's perspective. It helps us to expand our learning. Isn't that right, Nan?
100%. That's the only way is to make informed decisions, is to be curious and to learn as much as we can from other people.
Absolutely. And I believe that it's, the true gems actually comes from real life stories, because there's not what you can read on the storybooks or the textbooks, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's
So,
ironic that we're saying this, get off the screen and get into life.
absolutely right. So thank you so much for volunteering and giving us your time here tonight. I'm excited. Before that, allow me to welcome our friends tonight. Hello, Doc. Hello, Brett. Brett is in the house.
Oh,
And
Brett.
Marvin. Hello, Marvin.
Hello, Brett.
And Mark Sizzler dialing in from LA. Awesome. All right, because I have many questions tonight to cover, and we will start now. So, Nan, you know what? I was very, very curious when I saw your profile. It says men's health coach. And I'm like, she's a lady. Why is she just targeting on helping men? This is so unusual because usually what we know is that the health coaches or the wellness coaches, their target is people, anyone, whether male or female, who wants to just get their health and fitness. So for you, I was like, why men's health coach?
Absolutely, and that's why we got talking and became friends through that conversation.
Yeah.
I actually did experience a domestic violence situation, and after coming out of that, my logic tells me that if I can help men, if we can all help men to be their best, if we can help everyone to be their best, what kind of world would that be? So my logic then says, well, if we can help men to be their best and be the best versions of themselves, if they knew the strategies, how to deal with things, if they were healthier, would that impact domestic violence?
Sorry, Nan. I think there's your voice got softer. Can you help me perhaps increase your volume? Because sometimes when you speak,
better?
Yeah, now it's better. Sorry.
Oh, it's better. Yeah. Sorry about that. So my logic tells me that if men are at their best, if they're at their healthiest, if they have strategies to use that are healthy and that suit them, doesn't that logically make sense that then domestic violence, rates of male suicide will decrease? It makes sense that 50% of the community, if they're at their best, isn't that better for everyone? So it helps the men, it helps the women, it helps the children grow up. So it's really important to me that we take an approach, a different approach. The other thing is, you come out of a bad situation.
Sorry, we lost you. The mic is gone.
Is that better now?
Now it's good. Yeah. Yeah.
If we come out of a bad situation and we look around us and things are getting worse, or the current narrative that we're using and following in society, the stats, etc., are getting worse. does it make sense then that we have to change the way in which we do things to make things better? So it
So what
just
I
made
hear from
sense.
you, so what I hear from you actually, in order to help the whole society, you want to start with helping the men, because by helping the men, you help the woman, you help the children. That's a very interesting approach.
Absolutely. I don't see a point in division, in hating each other, in creating misunderstandings. I see growth and expansion in this area and reduced domestic violence, reduced suicides, increased health and awareness when we help each other to be our best. So for me, that's the only way forward, to understand each other more, to be able to support each other and lift each other up, and to be able to come together as a community as we are meant to, because it's not about women against men, men versus women. We're humans, we're beings. We're meant to work together to build a really healthy, expansive community. We haven't been doing that. We've been divided and it's not working. The stats are getting worse. It's not the way to do it.
Right. And I'm just curious, Nan, was it difficult for you when you first started off to get into this path? Like we talk about the path less traveled, right? So what was it that you were doing before, and was it easy for you to just jump into this path that you have chosen today?
I think I've always been someone who's gone a little bit off the general path. I've always chosen the path less travelled, and I've always followed what is just right and authentic for me. So after this, and I did my own healing, it made sense to me that there's a better way to do this and to help society. There's a better way to do this and to help men, to help women, to help our community. So I didn't find it difficult. For me, it was almost a way also of me healing, to think, well, if we help men have better ways to be healthier, to know how to do things in a different way, this is one of the best things I can contribute to this area after having experienced that.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people they feel that it's very risky to do something that is purposeful, that is meaningful, that they are passionate about, especially when they are holding the corporate job, for example, the office job. So for a lot of people, they feel that it's a really big risk to jump into pursuing this path that is less traveled. So how is it you are able to just jump in like this? Did you started very long ago before you even had this intention to help men in improving their health, or how was it for you?
I started in the health industry or the fitness industry. They're different industries. I started because I had a very bad car accident. And when I rehabbed, I thought, I want to do that. I want to help people. I want to help people like the rehab person helped me. So I got into fitness and became a back pain expert and rehab expert, and really enjoyed that. And then I became burnt out. I went into the corporate world and I still did fitness after hours. And I spent time in the corporate world, which was a wonderful experience, but perhaps not right for me. And I became burnt out and I became very unwell for about 3.5 years.
Hold on. Why is it working in the corporate feels not right for you? Why is it you're getting a lot of burnout?
I actually, I listened to someone who said, get a real job.
Right.
So
We hear that a lot.
I went and got a real job.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel like I was adding enough value in everyone's life. I wasn't going home feeling like I made a really big difference today. Now, a lot of people in the corporate world do, and that's wonderful. For me, I needed I needed to be back in the fitness industry. And, you know, they often say you enter the fitness industry for about 6 months to a year, or it's in your blood and you're in it forever. So that's where my heart was. That's where I authentically needed to be.
Right.
But I had so many lessons in the corporate world, and through not listening to my body, through thinking that I'm fit, I can do anything, I don't, you know, I can achieve it all, I can overwork, it doesn't matter, I can push through. The very hustle, hard work approach that was certainly in the corporate world back then, I stuck with that and I followed that. And
What were you doing before in the corporate?
I was in recruitment.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I did the long hours, I did everything, and I didn't listen to my body.
It's very
And
high pressure, right? And it's sales.
absolutely, it's long hours, it's all sorts of things, and it wasn't a healthy environment for me. And
in what sense is it not healthy for you?
Well, coming from some knowledge from the fitness industry, I realized that there was always stress eating. There were always chips coming into the office for stress, or there were always cakes for someone's birthday or a celebration, or there was always chocolate or something, or more drinks afterwards for this or that.
Is that the American culture?
Pardon?
Is that the American culture? No, Australia.
It's definitely Australian culture. And, you know, even at first I would take my lunch away from my desk. There was a park across the road. I would have my lunch there. And that was very frowned upon. And I found over time I was fitting in with what everyone else did, which was eat through lunch, eat at your desk. You don't take time off for lunch. You just eat at your desk and you get your work done.
That was what you were expected.
Absolutely. And this was something that I saw as really unhealthy, but it's what we did. Work had to be done. So
right.
I became very burnt out, and after going into hospital with pneumonia and pleurisy and having a fight with a doctor in emergency that I don't need to be here and I've got things to do. You know, 2 weeks later, I was released and I went straight back to doing what I was doing. I didn't listen. So it happened again. I got sick again. That time, though, I listened because I had to. I had run myself down so much
So is it like there's two times here? The first time you were in the fitness industry and then you went back to corporate.
Yeah.
And then after that you got your health problem
at the same time. And I got very, very sick, and I kept pushing. I got pneumonia and pleurisy, ended up in hospital, and I went back to work, but I didn't change anything. I thought, well, the hospital's fixed me. I'm better. I'm fit. I'm young. Away we go. And it happened again because I wasn't listening. And also at the time, I was thinking, well, this is just annoying. You know, my body's giving me all these signals and symptoms, but I've got stuff to do.
You're so stubborn and you don't listen.
Exactly. I've got 10K runs to do. I've got people to meet. I've got work to do. I don't have time for this. So it happened again. But unfortunately, when you run yourself down enough, you end up experiencing a post-viral syndrome, a chronic fatigue, etc. So, you know, that was 3.5 years.
Awesome. So I really like this topic, and I want to hear from all the audience out there, because you may be dialing from different countries as well. And I know what you're experiencing then is happening here, right? So I want to hear about from all of you, what is it that you're experiencing? Can you relate with the experience that Nant has? You know, the working culture, the society's expectation. And when you want to be healthy, you know, people are just gonna stare at you looking like you're some weird person. Because I actually have someone who come to me. She's been in the corporate for many, many years. She's in the senior position, but her health is really deteriorating over the years. and she has a lot of stress. It's a very high demand job, and she just feel like she wanted to change. She no longer want to continue to in the industry, but the financial commitment that she has, she feels that, you know, she's been the one that is mainly supporting the family. The spouse is not the one that is contributing as much. So there's a lot of considerations, right? So a lot of fear as well, because she has interest actually to go into wellness to help people, because she herself is struggling with her health. So she's now have interest to be healthy, and she wanted to be able to help people in this area as well. But again, you know, when you are someone who is at a very high corporate level, and you say you want to shift into transition into a totally new different industry, the fear and the risk is very high. So I want to hear from you and everyone out there, you know, what does it take for us or for other people out there who are still considering to embark on the path less travel? What does it take? What do you think?
Firstly, I think we need to change the workplace wellness culture. You know, there are such small changes that we can make in all areas of our life that actually make the biggest difference. So we don't always have to give up our high profile, high paying job to be well. A lot of people have a lot of stress, they're not well, but they love their job, and that's wonderful. They just need to make some changes,
Yeah,
even some small changes that will make a big difference. I think the important thing is, if you're going to change and go into wellness, the reason why I then studied to become a naturopath and nutritionist and counselor and continued my studies was because I found someone eventually who could help me become well. Now, I think it's very important that you learn first how to heal yourself and how to
absolutely.
become well.
Yeah,
And then you can go and study and get the knowledge to help other people. So
yes,
any of my teachings have always come first from personal experience, healing, getting better, and then thinking, I need to go and let everyone know that they don't have to live like this. So that,
absolutely.
then I went to learn everything I needed to learn so I could help people understand that, hey, here's a better way. You can be healthy. You are designed to be healthy and happy and vital and live an amazing life, an expansive life. So I think there's two things. One, if you really don't like your job, if it's not authentic to you, if it doesn't suit you, that's one thing. If you love it though, and it does suit you, there are so many ways that both your work can help you make small changes and you can help yourself make small changes. It doesn't have to be this great resignation.
I like that. I like that. Thank you. And I think for me, even the path that I'm taking is also, I find that it's not that common as well. I think our definition of common is, you know, getting an office job, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
say get a proper job, and the so-called proper job is usually the office job, isn't it? It sounds stable. Every month you get a salary. So even for me, I think it is the circumstances that got me to finally have the courage to just throw in my resignation and get out there and do whatever it takes. So for me, it's kind of like I'm getting the push because of my situation, because I felt that I was really already at the bottom of the pit. There's nothing to lose anymore, and if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret for the rest of my life. So it was the circumstances that pushed me to get out there. Whereby there are some people like you, it's also your circumstances, but it's got to do with your health. Your health is just telling you over and over again, stop doing this, stop torturing yourself, and get out there and do something about your health. And there's another type of people as well who is in general, they are a lot more different. They are the risk takers. They are what we call the mismatchers. They just don't like to be the same as everybody else. This is very rare though. So I think what I found is that the circumstances is usually the one that can give people a huge motivation to just push up there, right?
Absolutely. It's there's so much involved in risk taking, and whether you're, obviously it's also what do you consider a risk? What I consider a risk, you would say I don't consider that a risk, and vice versa. So
what do you consider as not a risk, and what other people could think that is a risk?
well, I love adrenaline sports. I love extreme sports. To me, they're not risky, they're fun. For a lot of people, they'll say that's a risk.
Right, right.
And as you said, also depends on belief systems. Some people believe that everyone has a purpose to be here. Life is to be lived. I've got to get out there and live my life. Life is short. And some people believe that, well, life is about me just showing up, doing what I need to do, providing what I need to provide for my family, and going home. And that's fine. It depends
Yeah.
on, do your beliefs suit what you want your life to be? And it's also a matter of being able to listen to yourself, because I remember at a very young age, I said to an older person who was a big influence in my life at the time, a male, I said, with school subjects, which way should I go? And they said, well, you're a woman, so
Sorry, what were you saying?
I said you're a female.
Female.
So what does it matter? Because you're either going to get married or you'll be a receptionist.
What? No.
And I said, no. How
No.
about you shove that? So it's also a matter of knowing that when something comes to you and doesn't feel right, that you can honor yourself and say, no,
No.
that's not right for me. That might be the culture that you've been brought up in. That might be what you're being taught on TV. That might be what you're learning, but that doesn't sit with me.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes our beliefs is we take on the belief of other people. We take on the society's expectations because people have been telling us that that's the way to go. There's something that is good for you, and you just, when we are not mindful, right, and it's repeated to us over and over again, we just accept it as our own. So over the years, we didn't realize that actually that's not what we want. It's actually somebody else desires, and we walk that path. It's somebody else's path, but it's not our path. So it does takes a lot of consciousness and mindfulness to backtrack and look at our life path, and to really ask ourselves, what is my belief? Is this serving me? And also look at what is our values. What is it that is truly important to me in my life? And am I living my life the way that I want to live, that fulfills what is important for me? So I think sometimes people get into inner conflict because the money is important, and yet there is this thing about fulfilling their heart's desire. So sometimes getting into the alignment is what has been a challenge for most people.
Absolutely, it is. It is. We are surrounded by it, with newspapers, social media now, news, the culture that we live in, the people that are closest to us. We've been brought up to believe a certain way,
Yeah.
and it takes some curiosity and some questioning to actually find out that, hang on, there might be some better ways, or I'm not sure if I actually believe that. What if this? Like a child constantly asks, but why? But why? We need to ask more, why?
I like
And keep
that. I like that.
asking, but why? But why?
Self-inquiry.
Absolutely. And even with each other on social media, instead of immediately judging,
Yeah.
why are we asking, well, that's really interesting. What made you come to that conclusion? Why do you think that?
Yeah.
Because it provides such a more fascinating insight into everyone else, and it builds us as a community, as being opposed to only coming from our perception and
Yes.
judging others.
Yes. And what I like is that, a lot of the answers that people are looking for, they actually have it within themselves. They just haven't searched inside them. They just haven't asked themselves what is it that they want. They haven't inquired within them. But yet they just keep on looking for external validation, looking for external answers, whereby the answer is just within them. So it's important to just do like what you said, to ask ourselves, all these questions that can help us to change.
Everything is within us. And the other thing is, you ask why, start thinking, well, hang on, that doesn't make sense to me anymore. What I used to believe no longer serves me. Where am I going? People have go through life events, obviously, and they think, hang on, I need more than this, etc. Where am I going? What do I want?
Yeah,
We've always been taught, certainly in Australia, we're very much taught that other people will tell us how things should be, that we should look to other people for answers. So we haven't been taught the strategies to actually deal with how to process our emotions and our thoughts. And so what do we do when we come up with, actually, this isn't right for us? So we then need to seek help from experts and qualified people who know the strategies and tools to use to bring this out of ourselves.
absolutely. And instead of asking people to tell us what to do, I think for me, I do believe that it's important to model the successful people. That there are people out there who has been there, done that, and have what we wanted. And so it's important to model, let's say, their mindset, their attitude, and how they feel about their work, their journey. But don't let people tell us what to do, because everyone is special. You and I are just special, different. Everyone is different. So it's important that we know what's within us, what's important to us, what we want, instead of letting other people tell us, hey, this is what's good, this is how you got to do it, this is how I do it. So follow all these things exactly, the template. Because sometimes, because we are so special, it's important that we can modify it according to our authentic self as well, isn't it?
That is the only way to live. Again, we haven't been taught. There are so many things we come out of school with, with the ability to regurgitate information, and that's incredible. That's great. And we use a lot of that information. We're using it now. But a lot of information that we're not taught in school, the life skills that we absolutely
Life
need.
skills. Yes.
The amazing people that we really are. Now,
Yeah.
I believe that we're all unique. I believe that we've all got a very special purpose, a reason for being here. So,
And isn't it very sad, right? How is it we are not being taught the life skills that is so essential to us? Honestly, I wish that I have been taught the life skills, and unfortunately, I only gain it, with making a lot of mistakes. But if only, right, we get to learn life skills from a very young age, I think that will increase our emotional intelligence, our resilience, isn't it?
look, the world would be a different place. I
Yeah,
was taught when I was little that, if I had anything wrong with me, go to the doctor. They know more than you. They'll fix it.
yeah.
Now, all medicine has a place, but are you
I agree.
telling me? Are you telling me that someone else knows my body more than I do? Are you telling me that I should be listening to other people more than myself instead
Right.
of working with a
Yeah,
health expert about
yeah,
how to make myself optimally healthy?
yeah.
Why have we been taught, even in the fitness industry, why have we been taught for so long that aesthetics are why we're there? And you'll see results in 12 weeks. No, you'll see results right now when you do some exercise, because you will feel amazing about yourself. You'll build confidence. You'll have the endorphins. You'll have blood rushing through your veins. You will have oxygen through your system. You'll see
And you don't
results right now.
and you don't need all those drugs, all those things that you mentioned, all those hormones, the happy hormones that you need to fight your depression. All you need to do is just hit the gym, or even go for a run, or even dance, and you'll get there. You don't need the drugs, isn't it?
It, it's look, as I said, all medicine has a place. I have no
Yeah,
issue with people taking meds,
yeah, yeah.
but
Okay, Nan,
we
I
have
have,
to
I
get
have,
to the underlying cause though, and place our body in
yes,
environment to heal.
Yeah. Awesome. And I have one important question from Brett.
Oh, Brett,
So
I
Brett has been
knew
asking a
I'd
question.
ask that.
She's been waiting so patiently to for your answer. So what are you most proud of in your life?
Oh, good question.
Absolutely.
You know, other than, as everyone would say, they're very kind, loving people, etc., and they certainly hope that they show that to the people in their life. I would say that for the most part, I have stayed true. I have stayed authentic to myself, and I have stayed very true to what I believe I'm here for. That hasn't changed you know, in all since I've said this is why I'm here. That has not changed. There are two reasons I'm here, and that stayed the same the whole way along. So I'm really proud that I don't believe in luck, but I consider myself incredibly fortunate that that accident led me to finding my purpose and my passion, and I've stuck with that the whole way along.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so beautiful. I can totally relate with you when you say that what you're most proud of is that you stay true to yourself, to your authentic self. And it sounds easy, but it's not easy for a lot of people. Sometimes it is so, there's people are so used to their situation, although they don't like what they're having in life now, but because it's something that is familiar, uh, it just get them stuck there. And for them to really walk away and stay true to themselves and do something that they feel right for themselves, it's just too scary because there's too many uncertainties out there. So, but the
Absolutely.
beauty
There's
is this.
a lot of
But the
people.
beauty is this for people like you and I, who just finally have that courage and that strong desire to just go out there, put ourselves out there, and stay true to our vision, stay true to our heart, and eventually, after all of the hard work, I'm not saying it's easy, but after all of the hard work, eventually we will be able to feel so much at home with ourselves. Like this is truly
That's a
why we
really
are
important
born.
point. And thank you for the question, Brett. But that's a really important point, because I think a lot of people who say, "Oh, you're so lucky. You've always known, what
Yeah,
your purpose is." That
yeah,
doesn't mean that along the way I haven't had challenges with people saying, "What on earth are you doing?" With people in my life saying, "This is ridiculous. We don't think you're on the right path." That doesn't mean that there haven't been situations along the way where people very close and in our culture are saying, "Well, no, that's not how it's done." It takes some courage and some strength to say, "Well, if I go your way, I don't feel good within myself. I feel
yeah, yeah,
uncomfortable in my skin. If I go
yes.
my way, I feel really comfortable in my skin. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel connected. Thank you for your opinion. I really appreciate it, but I'm not going to take it on board,
I
because
like that.
it's
I like
something I
that.
learned
This is
a
awesome.
long time ago was only take qualified advice and qualified criticism.
Absolutely.
Well, I remember someone giving me some relationship advice about, I think, 20 years ago, and
Okay.
they were particularly bad at relationships. And I had to end up saying, "Look, with all due respect, I can't take any relationship advice from you, because you don't have any great relationships.
Oh,
I
such.
I can I can only take relationship advice from people who I want to model and who are
Yes,
qualified to give me that information." So
yes.
while I really appreciate your opinion and happy to discuss and want to know your opinion, I don't feel comfortable taking your advice, because to me it's not qualified.
Yeah, totally agree. So be careful with what we choose to listen to. Be careful with who we choose
Oh,
to listen to. My mentor says the same thing to me. He says, Rainy, I only take qualified advice if they are not the expert in what I wanted to have, or
I
they don't have the success in what I wanted to have, then it's just an opinion. And to me, it's I don't have to pay much attention in it. So I think this is a great advice that we've been
You
getting.
know,
Yeah.
and that would be also qualified criticism. So if someone said to me on LinkedIn, when trolls do their thing, when someone said, someone came up and said, "Oh gosh, that was terrible. You looked awful, and you said this," then how many times have you appeared live on LinkedIn? Then that's what we would need to ask them. So if you want to give me this advice and me to take this criticism, I'm happy to.
Right.
Please make sure that you're qualified to give it.
I love
So
that.
it's really important that both sides, we only take qualified advice and qualified criticism. And I get it, much easier said than done, because people on social media can do all sorts of things. But again, why are we listening to the news when it comes from one source? Why are we listening to social media? Why are we listening to one source of information if it's not qualified or we're not being fully informed from all different directions?
Absolutely. And I want to ask you these questions. You know, has there been have you had faced challenges in this journey? You know, what are some of the key challenges that you had faced?
Well, certainly the key challenges have always been the reasons why I went on to further study, because I had a very bad accident, or I became very unwell and had to get myself better, because living when you're not well is literally just existing through the day. Going through a bad relationship, they're their own challenges, which have led me to much greater things. But it's really important that we understand that there are challenges for anyone. We're always looking to grow and expand. And
Yeah.
in doing that, that takes its own challenges. A lot of the challenges for me have been making sure I surround myself with the right people as I grow,
Absolutely.
and
So
making
important.
sure, so important. I think people really, really misunderstand how important this is.
Yeah.
And understand, remove toxic people from your life, removing toxic things from your life, and being more and more authentic, which in many cases has meant I move further and further away from the status quo,
Yes.
and I become more and more outspoken. So
What
there,
helps you to be more and more outspoken?
pardon.
What helps you to be more and more outspoken?
Well, usually I'm very outspoken when I'm speaking about something I'm very passionate about. That's when you'll get me on a rant.
Absolutely.
That's when I'll rant, and you'll have to stop me, and I'll go off on a,
Absolutely.
my partner says I've got an opinion about everything. But usually my opinion will become very strong when I actually know what I'm talking about. And then you'll
Absolutely.
really hear me. You'll really
And
hear me.
and you're making a stand for what you believe in, basically.
That's what it is. I believe very strongly in certain things,
Yeah.
and I believe that I can really help people if they can understand how the body works, how the body heals, how amazing they are. That yes, they are here for a purpose. Everyone is amazing. I believe if we can provide people with the right environment, the right external environment, they can really be their best. People don't have to be suffering like they are.
So
And I
Nan,
become very passionate about that.
right, and I'm actually curious, right? We talk about this, that why is it so important for people to put themselves as a priority, to put their health as a priority? Why is it such a challenge? So what is your thought
Oh,
about this?
look, that's such a big topic. That's a podcast on its own. But we have been taught the wrong way. We have been taught so many different messages. Mothers and women are taught you must look after everyone else first and nourish first. And then they're also taught the analogy of, if you're on a plane, you mask yourself up first, because without looking after yourself, how can you look after everyone else? Men are told you've got to provide first, put yourself last, work, provide for your family. And then they're told, but if you're not well, you can't provide. There are so many different messages in society that have confused us. Go to an expert. They know more than you, and they're up here and you're here. It's here. A teacher is here with you. They work with you to help you to be your best. It's not about someone saying, this is what I'm telling you and this is what your body's saying. We've also been taught, well, I was certainly taught, that symptoms are really annoying and they need to be squashed. It wasn't until after I became unwell that I found out, hang on a second, symptoms are how my body speaks to me. That's my body. My best friend knocking at the door and saying, I need to talk to you. And me squashing it with a symptomatic reliever is like me shutting the door on their face, maybe giving them a drink of whiskey at the time and some chocolate and saying, I don't have time for you, shut up.
Right.
And eventually they come back and say, hey, I really do need to talk to you. And I say, I don't have time, go away. So we've been taught so many incorrect messages, and it's so important that we get the message out there that we are designed to heal. We are designed to be healthy. We are designed to be happy, which doesn't mean that we're jumping off the walls all the time. It means that we know how to process our emotions and our thoughts. It means that. It's people say, oh, your natural state is of happiness. Good one, Nant. And I say, no, it's not about always being happy. It's about knowing how to process.
Yes, and listen to your body. And I really like this point, because it's so common that whenever we have the symptoms, like let's say you have a headache, you have a stomach ache, indigestion, all these things, right? We just swallow the medicines. We just go to the doctor, swallow the medicines, and just hoping that it will shut up. The body will stop talking to us, and then we will suppressing
it. We say, well, that's it. I'm fixed.
Right.
No, you're not.
But then it come back stronger. This time, whenever it come back stronger, and
come back in a different way.
Absolutely, it come back in a different way, and then again we go to the doctors, and then we thought that just by swallowing the pills it solved the problem, but it doesn't. And then even sometimes, right, it's got to do with our stress. Sometimes it's got to do with why we are so sad every day. It's our emotions, our belief, our circumstances, our environment. Maybe because we have been having a lot of toxic relationship in our professional work, etc. But we are just not looking at that. And the fastest way for us to go is to get a drug, swallow it, and then hoping that it'll go away. Which is, I think we need to talk about this. Yes.
Absolutely. If it's life-changing and life-saving, absolutely. All medicine has a place.
Yes,
but
agreed.
Whether you're taking medication or not, why are you still not looking at the underlying cause of what's creating that and changing the environment in the body, which is designed to heal? So, for example, absolutely. So you've got a bad back, say. You go to the chiro or the physio or the back specialist, whoever you see. Now, someone who's a bit overweight, usually a back person will say, hey, mate, you need to also lose some weight. That'll help. Now, why don't we also understand that the body works as a whole? Our system works as, if you have this issue, you go to that specialist. If you have that issue, you go to that specialist. If you go to, when I was sick, I saw about 300 specialists for all different things. The body doesn't work like that. It works together. So, if you've got the weight loss, then we also need to talk about sleep, because that affects weight loss. We also need to talk about emotional health. That's going to affect binge eating. We also need to talk about stress, because that's going to impact inflammation, adrenal system, central nervous system, which is going to impact your pain. We also need to talk about mental health, because that negative thought pattern and the serotonin, the gut health, the dopamine receptors, that's going to affect your pain.
Absolutely.
Again, gut health relating to mental health. We need to talk about emotional health and how we might be feeling emotionally down because dealing with pain is exhausting. You know,
Yes.
we can't just say, oh, I went and saw a physio and back pain fixed. If you want long-term health, optimal long-term health, you have to look at the 4 pillars, which are physical, mental, emotional, and soulful. The body works as one, and every one of those pillars, like the foundation of a house, all work together. As soon as one crumbles, there's more pressure on the others, and the house starts falling down around you. So we need to understand that health, long-term health, is not a diet for sleep, is not a diet for your back pain, because if you want to fix it long term, you have to look at your whole body. You are a whole person. So, 50 years ago, naturopaths, nutritionists were saying gut health is related to mental health. I think 2 years ago, I saw an article saying, oh, we've researched and wow, gut health's related to mental health. So it's really important that we understand we've been dealing with this traditionally for a very long time, understanding that there is a connection with everything in your body. You go and speak to someone who has stress-related heart disease, and you look at their enzyme levels, their troponin levels of their heart, directly related to stress. That can happen. You look at someone with a mental health disorder, Wernicke syndrome, that often is related to alcoholics, and all that is a B deficiency. That's how important nutrients are in the body.
Yes, and the thing is that going through the path that you shared earlier on, it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like it's complicated. And people just don't have the patience for that. So I think that is the reason also why it's very difficult for people to change their mindset about their health, because the medication is so much faster. Today I took it, tomorrow I thought, oh, okay, it's gone. But
I think that's another misconception. We have been taught that health is boring. Eating healthy is boring. What are you going to do? Eat rabbit food. You lead a boring life. Where's your quality of life? I can't think of a better quality of life than having the freedom to choose what I do and the actions I take, because I'm not relying on whether I'm tired or feel sick or don't feel like it or something's hurting. So we've been miscommunicated with that health is complex. I know I've spoken about all these areas and made it seem like that. But health is only complex when we completely put it in the hands of other people. When we say, give me a diet plan, give me a fitness plan, and I'm going to lose weight. And then what happens? We follow that. It's not long term, works for a little while. And then what? We haven't dealt with our emotions, our habits, our mental health, the 4 pillars. What's happened?
Which is the root causes of all the problems.
Exactly. If we learn how to understand our body, the skills, these are not gifts that we're given at birth. They're skills that anyone can learn. If we learn the skills of how to understand our body, how to listen to it, how to respond to it, what it wants at any given time, it becomes very, very easy. It becomes simple. So learning those skills instead of going on another diet and wasting your time following another diet, generic diet for everyone and anyone, take that time instead to learn the skills of how understanding your body, how to respond to your body, and how to know what your body wants and needs and when, and you're free.
Right.
So you get to live in health and you're free.
Yeah, it's all about becoming your best friend and becoming the best friend with yourself and knowing yourself inside out. And you don't need people to tell you what to do because you know yourself so much. So I like this. It's so
I
important.
cannot think of anything more complex than constantly
Right.
having to think, what am I meant to be eating again? What did that diet say? Sorry, what, oh, am I on calories or macros or what am I on? What? No, I can't eat that. Isn't it better if we just learn how to understand our body
Yeah.
and what health actually is and the 4 pillars,
Yeah.
and we know at any given time, ah,
Can
that's
you
why I've
repeat
got
your
a
four
headache.
pillars again
That's
for
what my
our
body's
audience?
telling me.
Can you repeat again your four pillars? It's so important.
Physical, mental, emotional, and soulful.
Physical,
Soulful being something that
physical,
is
emotional, mental, and what's the last one?
soulful. So
Soulful.
soulful being something that is bigger than yourself, your purpose, something that you add value
Ah,
to. It might be just you want to be the best partner in the world. It might be you're involved in your local
make a
footy club.
difference.
It might be spiritual. It might be make a difference, but
Yeah,
it's to do with energy, vibration, is to do with living your purpose and adding value.
I
So
like that.
those 4 pillars are, when those 4 pillars are strong and sound, you're set. And
Absolutely. Totally agree
why
with
would
that.
we not want to learn that instead of following some silly diet that
Yes.
will give us so much grief and so much stress, make us tired, will be a short-term fix, and will very often cause more problems than it's worth? That to
Yeah.
me is hard work.
Yeah. And you know what, Nan? I really like it that you have such a holistic view on health, that it's not just about your physical, that is related to even your mental, emotional, and even your soul, your purpose as well. So when we can get in alignment with all these four pillars, we can feel very joyful, very peaceful, very at our path, just in alignment. And just
Absolutely.
I think that is
And
priceless, isn't it? I think that's
it's
priceless. It's good enough to just go on the path that is less traveled.
why would you not want to learn that? If it takes the same amount of time to learn another exercise routine or try this diet for 12 weeks, why
Yeah,
would you not want to learn these skills that are going to free you?
yeah. All right, then I have last two questions. Last
I
two
know, I'm
questions for
sorry,
us.
I've ranted. I told you I'd rant.
It's awesome. It's been awesome. Now I have these questions. What is your definition of success? Quick
As
one.
a holistically, my definition of success generally is being able to live your life authentically with freedom in whichever way you choose.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful. I
Definition of
love it.
success in regards to health, etc., is absolutely making sure that I impact as many lives as I possibly can while I'm here.
It's so beautiful. I really love that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
Okay,
you for
last question.
asking.
Last question. This one. So this is a question that from someone who is thinking to considering exploring thinking to transition her career from corporate into wellness industry. So she asked, what makes a health coach successful?
This is a big question, Rainey.
I know, right?
It's a big question.
I know.
I'll do my best to cut it down. So I remember when I was lecturing to personal trainers, teaching them how to be personal trainers, on the very first day, I would say, why are you here? And it needs to be because you want to help people. I would always know who was going to last in the industry. They wanted to help people. That has to be
So
one
that's
of
the
the number
criteria,
ones.
yeah?
Absolutely, one of them. And you need to want to make a difference. You
Okay.
absolutely need to be qualified in whatever you choose. Now,
Okay. So
I've
is it
been
like
lucky
getting
enough to,
proper qualifications?
you need proper qualifications. You must have them. And I've been lucky enough to have 30 years in the industry, so I just keep studying. But focus first on what that person's most interested in and make sure you stay in your lane. If you haven't got the knowledge base, stay in your lane and work with other practitioners so that you can give your clients a holistic approach. It's very important.
Correct.
Make sure also you meet your clients where they're at. You've got to be able to make sure we meet clients where they're at. And
Okay.
absolutely, essentially, we have to be able to educate people about how the body heals, about how the body's natural state. We have to be able to help people with the proper education and to guide them about the 4 pillars, to guide them that some of what they've learned, some of their beliefs no longer serve them. And if they want long-term optimal health, they will need to learn how to understand their body. It's much more about that than just handing out diets, handing out plans, and away we go. So
Wow.
what makes, and you must genuinely care about your clients' results. It's, that obviously goes
Yeah.
without saying.
Yeah. And I
And
can
sorry,
tell that.
and it is not a job. Sorry, I told you I go on rants about this. It is not a job. It's a lifestyle. You have to practice what you preach. If
Ah,
you have to fully believe it, which means you are it, which means you've experienced it. You've
yeah.
experienced being unwell. You know how to heal, and you know what it takes for you. And you also understand that everyone is uniquely different at a different point. So you understand how to find out where that person is and where to start them on their journey and what's going to suit them. Because there are thousands of ways that we can become healthy. We
Right.
need to help people find the ways that are healthy for them and that
Right.
suit them.
Right. So, and I can hear just from your definition of success alone, all of that is about the client's result, the client's success. So it's like what makes a health coach successful is when the client get their health results, isn't it?
Isn't that what we're all here for? To help each other?
That's awesome. Yeah.
What are we here for?
Yeah.
We've
Well,
all got a
usually
unique
people,
purpose.
well, usually the key question that most people have is that what about the money? What about the money?
I think money is directly related to value. If
I
you're
totally
giving
agree with
great
that.
value and you're impacting people's lives, of
People will be
course,
willing to pay for it.
absolutely, and of course,
Yes.
money. We're human. We live in a material world. Of course, money
Yeah.
is important. This is not about woo-woo stuff. About we just go around helping everyone, and giving out free advice.
Yeah.
Obviously, we give as much free advice as we can, but
No, it doesn't
absolutely,
work. Free advice
value.
doesn't work because people
Yeah,
don't
money is
listen.
related to value. So, absolutely, if people give me value, I want to compensate them
That's
for
good
that.
one. Okay. Last question. This is extra bonus. All right. We have 2 minutes. So last question is this. Do you feel that you are successful now?
Yes.
Awesome. And what makes you say so?
Because I make a difference every day. I get to finish a day every single day and know that I make a difference. And do I want to make more of a difference? Of course. Do
Beautiful.
I, are there bigger goals that I have? Of course. But do I get to finish every day knowing that I've made an impact and I've helped someone and I've lived my purpose? I've been authentic to myself? Yes.
Oh my God, so beautiful, man. I love it. Gosh, I didn't choose the wrong guest tonight. and yes, Brett has affirmed us that what an amazing session, Rainy and Nan. Rainy, everyone should be following you for daily inspiration and insight into a range of diverse topics. And so is Nan, and so is Brett. Having you guys around in my LinkedIn circle, it just has been amazing. I'm learning a lot from
Brett is an
everyone here as
amazing
well.
man.
Yes,
Thank you
and
so much for your support, Brett. And can I just, I'm sure Rainey will as well. Please
absolutely.
follow Rainey and Brett because Rainey, you have inspired me constantly
So,
with your
so is you.
your
So is you.
posts. And you and Brett have been nothing but supportive. And make sure you're following them on LinkedIn. These are amazing people doing amazing things in the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So everyone, for all of you who have been staying throughout with us tonight, I really hope
Thank you
that
for joining.
yes, and I really hope that we have our sharing tonight has been relevant for you, has been adding some values for you. And if there's anything that you would like to ask any one of us, just feel free to comment and just share with us, and we'll be happy to share our experience, our stories, and also listen to your stories as well. So with that, I want to thank Nan as well for being here tonight. So thank you so much again for your time, and I wish you all the very best in everything that you do.
You too. Thank you so much, Rainey.
All right, thank you so much. And with that, we are ending our session tonight. Thank you, everybody.